A meeting has just concluded in which the Mumbai Water Tanker Association has officially called off the strike, the 5-day strike which was there in place, and that resulted in some sort of a crisis, especially in certain pockets of the city, in regions like Andheri and around, that is mostly the western suburbs of the city, for the last 5 days. Now, let us try and understand what was this entire controversy about. Well, this entire controversy began when the BMC decided to give notices to several independent tanker owners, and the notices called for a number of things, few of which stood out for them as something which was difficult to undertake for the tanker owners on an immediate basis. It's because the notices also stated that if the action wasn't initiated in 48 hours, an action would be taken from the side of the BMC, and that would be a strict action. And as a retaliation to this step from the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, we saw that the Mumbai Water Tanker Association called for a strike. Now, what were these demands? There were a bunch of demands. Firstly, there was a requirement for a digitization to be brought in place when it comes to the tankers dealing with water. We know that this entire entity is rather independent and functions by its own, but we'll come to that a little later when we talk about the other guidelines. Secondly, it expected the private well owners to get license from the Central Underground Water Authority. Now, the fact that the involvement of the Central Underground Water Authority was very much there here in this entire episode is something that did not go very well with the MWTA, that is the Mumbai Water Tanker Association, as they strongly believe that it's not a national perspective that one needs to have towards the problem that is prevalent here in Mumbai, but there needs to be more a hyper-local solution, a more Mumbai-centric solution for the problems that exist here. So these were the two main issues, and thirdly and more importantly, they were the BMC expected the water tanker associations to get number of NOCs, and the fact that there was no single window for these NOCs. There was a number of NOCs that they were supposed to get from different offices, and that in turn would have resulted in a lot of government and bureaucratic hassle. That resulted in this immediate backlash from the Water Tanker Association, and that is when the strikes were called. Now, for the first couple of days, of course, there was a lot of political blame game over this. We know that Aditya Thackeray, Shiv Sena UBT's leader, was one of the first leaders to talk about it, and stated that and he batted basically for the hyperlocal nature of laws and its implementation here in Mumbai, and called for a quick solution by the government of Maharashtra and by the BMC. Later, we saw the very active involvement of the Andheri MLA Murji Patel, who is also a member of Shiv Sena Shinde faction, who was in constant touch with the Mumbai Water Tank Association members and also mediated with the government. We also know today is what he told, that he was able to put the representatives in touch with the government, in touch with the Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis himself, and Eknath Shinde, the Deputy Chief Minister, also reassured them on multiple occasions. But nothing worked, as the Water Tank Association members were defiant and were very strong-headed on the notices being taken back. And as a result of that, a meeting was held today with the BMC Commissioner Bhushan Gagrani himself. There were the members or the representatives of the MWTA. There was the local MLA, that is Murji Patel from Shiv Sena, present there himself. And there was, of course, the BMC Commissioner Bhushan Gagrani. And as a result of this meeting, it was stated on part of the BMC, who was representing the government of Maharashtra, is what the MWTA members here told us, because Devendra Fadnavis had told them so earlier, made it very clear that the notices will be revoked with an immediate basis. And he also assured, or rather he suggested, the MWTA to take up this matter in the Supreme Court. So the matter where it comes to the requirement of license from the private well owners to continue their process in Mumbai is something that is beyond the jurisdiction of the BMC, is what the BMC stated, and the matter needs to be taken up with the Supreme Court. So from the information that we have gathered here today in this press conference, we come to know that the MWTA will be taking it to the Supreme Court and will be dealing with this matter separately. But on a more positive note for the Mumbaikars, the tankers will be out on roads immediately, as the issue has been resolved, at least on a temporary basis. But when you talk about the long-term solution in this entire case, where there was an attempt being made by the state authority and by the civic authority to bring in some sort of transparency by introducing, the NOCs, by introducing something like a license in a rather unregulated sector, is something that has gone out of the window, especially as of now. We've talked to a lot of residents who said that there is a requirement for transparency, because there is a lot of dirty nexus that has been played, at least on the ground level, when it comes to BMC officials and certain MWTA owners. And to counter that, digitization and the NOCs was a positive step rather. But will there be a single window NOCs being put in place to simplify the matter for the MWTA representatives and also to assist the BMC when it comes to have overviewing the matter with much more transparency? Something that we'll have to wait and watch out for. With senior camera person Rajendra Dyarkar, this is Anuj Raith reporting for NDTV from Mumbai.